We also have a shed where we park our cars. One of our friends that was living with us for a little while, he said, I can't go past the tank at the end of the shed because the sense that I get is just pure bad. I don't like the feeling at all that I get with my youngest son sitting in the lounge room. I caught it from the corner of my eye. You know when somebody peeks around the corner from another room, they just stick their head around the doorway? I had a shadow do that the other day. Doesn't happen every day, but it is quite frequent.
You can share your own story over on TrueScaryStory.com, where we schedule a call. You can find me over on social media too. Links to everything are in the description of this episode. If you're into paranormal comedy talk shows, we have one called Scary Mystery Surprise, where you can join me and Michelle to talk about creepy stuff. Find the podcast by searching for Scary Mystery Surprise. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon. What you'll hear today is a series of stories about a family and a place that used to house migrant workers, directly from someone who lived there. As some of our previous stories have touched on, these places seem to be the home of a unique form of energy that manifests itself in eerie ways, reflecting pain, a sense of longing, and curses. My name is Edwin, and here is Norma's true scary story.
My name is Norma Chacon, and I was born in Delano, California, where there was many migrant workers in our community. There was random killings and unmarked graves. When I was a child, about 11 years old, I would take care of my nieces and nephews. There was a tiny little house in back. You could hear hammering. It was just a very scary situation. I was afraid to stay in the house after dark because of the noises that I heard, pounding and doors opening and closing. We were left with my brother. He was watching myself and my siblings. We were sitting on the floor. He had fallen asleep on the couch. The door, which was right in front of us to the outside, started shaking. When I was married, I had a little boy. I had taken him to the hospital because he had diarrhea really bad. His little eyes were rolling to the back of his head. He spent the night. They told me the next day that there was no cure for that because they couldn't figure out why he was having diarrhea. There was nothing they could do for him. The only thing I could do was take him home. My mother said, we're going to take him to my sister-in-law, to her mom. We go over there. She tells me that she's going to massage him, that she could cure him. She said, I'm going to pull his little skin in the back 3 times. She showed me on his spine. She says, and if it pops, that means that he's empachado, which means, I don't even know how to explain that in English. It's like something a child gets when they eat something that they shouldn't. He was only like 2 months old. She did it, it popped, and then she turned him over. She gave him a spoon with a little bit of white powder in it. When we were leaving, he was instantly okay. At that time, I had left my husband. I had caught him with his ex-girlfriend, and my mother had shared this information with her. When we were walking out the door, she hands me a folded up little piece of paper and she tells me, I want you to say this 3 times a day until you're happy. I said, okay. I went to the car and I read it. It says, Saint something. Do not let Mario eat, sleep, or be with another woman until I say. I told my mother, and then she says, are you going to do it? And I told her, first of all, I don't think there's a saint that you would pray to that would do harm on somebody. I ended up throwing that away. That's the sort of thing that she did. One time I was visiting my dad in the early 60s. We were playing in the backyard. He was digging something for whatever reason. He found a jar the size of a regular mayonnaise jar. And in the jar was a little voodoo doll made of cloth. It had his picture glued to the face. My dad said somebody put a hex on me. He pulled the doll out and burnt it. My dad was a womanizer. He had this one woman that he often went to spend the night with. My mother went over there to pick him up. The woman tells her, he's not going anywhere. He loves me. He tells her, I'm going home with my wife. He started laughing. She told him, you better laugh all you can, because after tonight, you will never laugh again. He was never able to laugh again. He would pass out, which was scary and unexplainable. Another time in the late 50s, my brother was walking home in the middle of the night. While he was walking, he heard a woman laugh really loud. He turned around and looked. There was this woman with a black cloak on. She's laughing and laughing, starts walking faster and starts chasing him. He's scared to death and
There is, further fueling conspiracy theories. Some believe the buzzard is a part of Russia's perimeter missile system and emits a dead hand signal. This signal will trigger a nuclear attack if it's interrupted as a result of a nuclear attack on Russia. But this is not likely, as the buzzer stops regularly. Others theorize that it is a way for Russian spies to receive secret communications across the world, though this is a difficult thing to believe due to the low transmitter power of the station. It is also believed to be just a placeholder, so that no one takes the frequency. In January 2022, the usual and familiar buzz was interrupted. The hijacker played Gangnam Style, and different anime songs and Daft Punk, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, and Glory to Ukraine. They also sent spectrogram images of cartoon characters and SSTV images that were decoded into different characters. The buzz was restored, but since the Russian invasion, it is frequently hijacked to play similar songs. At the time of this episode, MDZHB is buzzing like normal. Broadcast signal hijackers are using this as a method to fight back. We have seen countless signal hijacking since the decades of the infamous Max Headroom incident. Since then, these types of intrusions have become felonies, and if caught, the hijacker can face prison and a very hefty fine. That's the key though. if caught. Very few frequency hijackers are caught and charged. In the different cases from this episode, only one, Captain Midnight,